things down the line. If it wasn't for the fact that one of those rumoured top things could be leader of the party, and therefore possibly Prime Minister if Blair failed to unite the party before next year's general election, Michael would have told the hideous bore to piss off and annoy someone else. "Thank you, you're so kind," Michael replied, behind a plastered-on fake smile. Charles leaned in, rubbing some telltale white powder from his nose. "A little birdie says that this is the last of your bashes, that you're pulling your support. Is that the case?" Michael shrugged. "Depends what Blair decides the manifesto is going to be. You know, if he keeps to his promise at the conference." "Oh, come on, don't be a bore," Charles loudly exclaimed to the room. "We're in power, that's what matters." "You don't think socialists should have a voice?" Michael asked, getting seriously irritated with the drunken idiot in front of him. "I don't talk politics at parties like this," Charles mumbled, spying a young brunette across the room. "I talk totty. Shame they're all stick-thin, though, you know? I prefer them a bit stockier, like your sister-in-law." Michael tried to move away again, but even though Charles had locked on to a new, more feminine target, he seemed to be focused on currently making Michael's night a living hell. "You could fund me," he whispered. "Screw Blair. We could change the narrative together." "But surely if I'm as far left as you seem to think, you're a little too centrist for me," Michael replied, his tone almost mocking in nature. "You'd be surprised," Charles said, tapping the side of his cocaine-covered nose. "I'm more a Bennite than a Blairite." He was referring to the elder statesman Tony Benn, who, although supportive of the current government, was critical of some of their acts. The bombing of Iraq 3 years earlier causing him to be very outspoken. There was talk around that he was so unimpressed with the current state of the party that he'd be stepping down as MP at the next election. Michael looked at Charles, trying to work out how much of this was spoken in jest or whether drugs and alcohol, most likely supplied by one of his fellow MPs, were loosening Charles Baker's usually well-locked-down lips. "I hear you're openly funding Shaun Donnal," Charles said softly. "Don't believe the rumours," Michael replied. "First rule of politics, dear boy," Charles said, irritating Michael. He wasn't Charles' boy. They were the same bloody age. "Buy the rumour, sell the truth." "You're giving me motivational sales quotes." "Same bloody thing." Charles tried to smile, but it came out more as a leer. "Anyone who thinks that politicians aren't salesmen doesn't understand how politics work. Anyway, I'm not sure that Shaun's your boy. His morals are questionable." "I know exactly how moral or immoral Donnal is." "Yes," Charles mused. "You probably know that better than us right now." Michael forced himself to bite back his first response to this. Of course Charles knew. They all shared the same bloody office. "Maybe I'll pick Andrew instead." "MacIntyre?" "Sure, I suppose that could work," Charles mocked. "I could get him right now for you if you want. He's currently in the cloakroom ramming as much gack up his nose before the fireworks go off." Michael indicated Charles' face. "You seem to have been joining him." Charles rubbed at his nose. "Oh, just keeping him loyal, that's all. This stuff does nothing for me. I was born with a natural high." "Well, we can always discuss my plans for candidate funding in the new year," Michael said, looking around again as he changed the subject. "I don't suppose you've seen Victoria, have you?" Charles waved vaguely towards the stairs at the back end of the ballroom. "I think I saw her going upstairs about 10 minutes back, staring at her phone like it was about to go off. Boom." He made an expansive explosion gesture with his hands, accidentally knocking into the Secretary of State for Social Security. "Sorry, darling," he slurred, placing a hand around the shoulder of his bemused new companion while waving his other hand. "I was talking to—" But his words trailed off as Charles looked around to see that Michael had gone. Michael was in fact already at the stairs,